Hey everyone, I'm Natalie with Thistle and Rose Farm, and today I'm going to show you how to make mozzarella cheese. I'm going to be using raw goat's milk. You can also use cow's milk for this recipe. It works just great. If you're going to use store-bought milk, just make sure that it's not ultra pasteurized. I always use raw milk. It's the only thing I've ever used for making cheese, so I'm going to recommend it because I'm not 100% sure what your outcome will be with store-bought milk. So if you use it following this video, please let me know in the comments how it came out for you, because I am really curious what it does and if it works out just as well as it does for me with the raw milk. So let's get started, and here we go. We're gonna start with a gallon of raw goat's milk. Okay, so we're going to start with 1 gallon worth of raw milk. And we're just going to add it all into a stock pot. And then because I have it in jars, I get a lot of cream around the edge of all of my jars. So I just spoon all that out the best I can and make sure everything is in there. Take 1 cup of water and dissolve 1.5 teaspoons of citric acid into the water. And we just want to stir it until it's dissolved. And we're going to be adding this to the milk while it's cold. Make sure the citric acid goes in before you heat the milk. It will help form your curds very well. So I'm just going to add this right in. Give it a gentle stir. I don't want to whisk it or be too rough. A very gentle stir, because we are going to want to be careful and gentle with our curds, especially if you're using goat milk. Give it a gentle, make sure it's kind of incorporated all through the milk. You can go into like an up and down motion to make sure it's at the bottom and the top of the milk. And now we're going to heat this up to 90 degrees on the stove. So I'm just going to put this on low, and I'm going to use a thermometer to get it to 90 degrees. We're over here, turning our stove on very low. Low, gentle, and slow for your cheese. While your milk is heating up, we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of rennet into a 1/4 cup of water. I use North Mountain Animal Rennet. I get it on Amazon. I'm just going to stir this up and leave it alone until our milk reaches 90 degrees. So while our milk is heating up, I'm going to take a few minutes to talk. And I do not use a cheesecloth when I make mozzarella. It just ends up sticking to it really, really badly. I only use a colander. So if you want to get that ready ahead of time, just put a colander inside of a very large bowl and have that set aside. I use citric acid and rennet when I make mozzarella. I do not use vinegar or anything like that. I find this is the best method for me to make mozzarella cheese. As you're heating, again, don't whisk or stir too roughly. You can already see the milk is coagulating a little bit. And we have some curds starting already. So we don't want to break up those curds and make them too tiny. So I'm just gently heating without stirring. Once our milk reaches 90 degrees, we're going to shut the heat right off. Add our rennet and very gently stir it in a circular motion for about 20 seconds. Don't overstir at this point because you'll break up your curd. You just want to move the rennet around. Doesn't take much because it is diluted in water. And now we're going to put a cover on the pot and let it rest for about 5 minutes. Okay, grab a cheese knife or any long, sharp knife will do. After your 5-minute wait, you want to see if your curds are set. If it seems like they're still forming, you can give it another few minutes to wait. I think I'm going to wait another couple of minutes. So at this point, how much time it takes to wait on your curds to really form can vary depending on your milk and also the breed of the animal that the milk is from. So if it's a very high butterfat content, it might take the curds really, really quickly to form. Sometimes they might be a little bit slower. Also, goat's milk might need a little bit more time than cow's milk to really form and gain some strength because the glue that holds the curds together is a little less there in goat's milk than it is in cow's milk. I don't know how else to really explain it, but the curds form a little bit differently. So the curds are a little bit more weak in structure than cow's milk is. So I'm going to give these a couple more minutes and then we're going to cut the curds and go on from there. After about a 15-minute wait, I'm coming back to this. I'm taking a look. I might have waited a little bit too long this time, but it's going to be just fine. So we have some nice solidified curds now, and this looks really good. Sometimes they're going to be a little softer than this, and you're going to get actual soft, squishy squares like marshmallow as you cut it. As you can see, mine is really forming cheese versus just whey, or just the curds. And this is just fine. So I'm just going to cut these into like a cross pattern, like a checkerboard kind of pattern. So just run your knife all the way to the bottom. Make sure it's scraping along the bottom and cut your curds into little squares. And now we're going to go yet again back to the heat and heat this all up to about 105 degrees. Okay, so I strained my curd, like I said, set up a colander inside of a very large bowl, pour it into the colander, and strain it out. You can already see it starting to look like mozzarella cheese because our whey was hot. So I'm going to take about half of this whey and put it back into my stock pot and heat the whey up to 180 degrees. Okay, so I poured half the whey into my stock pot again, and then I still have about the other half left, and I'm just going to put it aside into another container. Then I'm going to go back to my stock pot that I put the other half of the whey into and heat this to 180 degrees. My cheese, I'm going to put back into the bowl that's now empty. And now we'll just wait for the whey to get nice and hot. And I'm going to put about a tablespoon worth of sea salt, kosher salt, or cheese salt into that hot whey. And that's how I'm going to salt my cheese. Okay, so I also have a bowl just of ice water here, and I'm just going to put that to the side. And now I want some gloves on because the whey is very hot. And I'm going to go grab that. And we are about to 180 degrees. And again, my cheese is in the bowl. Now, I have had my cheese come out. If your curds are really, really soft and squishy, kind of like soft marshmallows at this point, that's perfectly fine. I have had it come out both ways. I've had them come out you know, where they're just soft, squishy little cubes. It takes just a little bit more time to get it to a good consistency with the hot way. And I've also had it kind of come out like this. It really doesn't matter how it is. You'll get mozzarella cheese in the end. So if they're really soft and squishy, just give them a little bit more time in the hot way. So I'm going to take the hot salted whey and pour it right in with my cheese. And let it sit for about 30 seconds. Make sure it's completely submerged. And I just want the cheese to get really hot during this time and start to soften. And we're going to give it a stretch in maybe 15 seconds or so. We'll see how we're getting. It's very hot, so be careful. If your curds are really soft and squishy at this point, kind of get your hands in, and what I do is put the curds in my hands and give them a gentle squeeze, and then I'll feel the texture of the curds begin to firm up. And once they firm up, I can start stretching out my cheese. So here we go. I'm going to take my cheese and start stretching it. This is our classic mozzarella. Look at that pull. So it's still a little cool in the center, so I'm going to keep it back inside a little bit longer. It is very hot. Okay, and we'll pull again. There we go. Look at that stretch. We have a nice, beautiful stretch. And then I'm going to take sections of my cheese, really stretch it. And as I stretch it, I'm going to start making a ball. And then break it wherever. Make the ball whatever size you want. Break it off. And when you have a nice smooth ball, pop this into the ice water that you set aside. And go again. Roll it all up. Form it. And pop it into your ice water. And just keep repeating this until you have all of your cheese. Stretch. This came out really, really stretchy. This came out really nice. My gloves are a little bit big, so my fingers are slipping right out of them, but that's okay. I can still make do. They just look a little wonky. So I'm just going to roll them up. It wants to stretch and stretch and stretch, which is good. So I do not like to use a microwave when I make mozzarella cheese. I will always do cheese slow and steady and with patience. I don't rush my cheese. I don't do anything quick and easy when it comes to cheese. And there we go. We have a beautiful ball of mozzarella. So I got 3 balls out of this one. I'm going to let it cool down. The ice water will just help firm up the cheese again. And then I'll show you what we have in just a minute. Make sure we have everything. So I took some of my whey that I set aside and put it into a clean glass bowl. And I still have my mozzarella balls sitting in a bowl of ice water. So I'm just going to take them out and put them into their little pool of whey. And then I can cover these up and put them in the refrigerator. And that's really it for making mozzarella. It really is that simple. I do like to use it very quickly. I don't store it for very long in the refrigerator. I will only go up to maybe 3 days, make sure I use it quickly. So usually on days that I make it, I am planning it right away for dinner, or I'll pop it into the freezer. You can definitely wrap it up very well and freeze your cheese. So I'm probably going to make some pizza tonight and get this used up right away, because it is most delicious when it's fresh, and there's nothing better than homemade fresh cheese. So I hope you found this easy. I hope you found this helpful. And if you make some cheese and you change anything, or you do it exactly the way I did it, please let me know in the comments below how it went for you, if you're enjoying your homemade cheese. And I will see you next time. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye. Thistle and Rose Farm.